This story is set 5,000 years ago when in ancient Egypt, a tyrannical king came to conquer the region by killing all the tribes living there. His greatest weapon was a beautiful and dangerous sorceress. However, a warrior from the oppressed tribe stands against this king, but will he succeed in his mission, and how will he face the beautiful sorceress? We will see this in today's story. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown a scene from thousands of years ago during a time when the people of Egypt lived in tribes, and the construction of pyramids had not yet begun. During this era, a dangerous tribe led by a chieftain named Memnon arrived. He attacked and conquered all the tribes in the region. The reason for Memnon's victories was his sorceress, Cassandra. Using her powers, she could predict future victories or defeats, and Memnon planned his strategies accordingly. Now, only a few free tribes remained, living in hiding. The leaders of these surviving tribes no longer wanted to wage war against Memnon, mainly because of his sorceress Cassandra. They knew very well that as long as Cassandra was with Memnon, they could never defeat him. However, one tribal leader, named Tyrant, still wanted to fight Memnon. Therefore, he summoned 3 brave warriors from a tribe known for their exceptional prowess. Among these warriors, the finest was named Mathayus. Tyrant tells them to kill Memnon's sorceress, Cassandra, and in return, he gives them the last few precious stones from his treasure. So all 3 agree to kill the sorceress Cassandra, but the pharaoh's son is not at all happy with his father's decision. After this, Mathayus and his companions start moving toward Memnon. Now, the 3 of them reach the place where Memnon and the sorceress Cassandra are staying and start searching for the sorceress Cassandra. But before they can find Cassandra, suddenly Memnon's soldiers attack them with arrows. Mathayus survives, but his 2 companions are struck by arrows. One companion dies there, and the other, who is Mathayus' brother, is injured and captured by Memnon's soldiers. On the other side, Mathayus somehow reaches the sorceress Cassandra and is about to kill her when Cassandra tells him that he has been betrayed. At that moment, Memnon's soldiers arrive, and Mathayus starts fighting them. Memnon's soldiers capture him and take him to Memnon. Here, the chief Tyrant's son also arrives. He has killed his father and made an alliance with Memnon. Memnon's soldiers then bring Mathayus' brother, who is still alive. Memnon kills Mathayus' brother in front of him, and now he is about to kill Mathayus. But Cassandra stops him and asks him not to kill Mathayus. She says that if you or any of your men kill Mathayus, your destruction will begin, and everything you have won will be taken away from you. Sorceress Cassandra saves him because she has seen with her powers that Mathayus is one of the good people created by God. So Memnon accepts her words, and instead of killing him, he decides to punish him. He and another thief are buried in the ground up to their shoulders. His soldiers release smoke into the homes of some poisonous ants nearby, causing those dangerous ants to come out. These ants are so lethal that they can turn a person into a skeleton within minutes. But before this happens, the thief buried with Mathayus somehow frees himself from the soil and also helps Mathayus to get out, saving his life. Now, Mathayus, determined to avenge the death of his brother and companion, sets out toward Memnon's kingdom to kill him and his sorceress, Cassandra. On the other hand, we see Memnon telling Cassandra that he wants to attack the remaining tribes and conquer them. Cassandra advises against it, saying that no one has ever benefited from war and bloodshed. However, Memnon says, "I want to rule the entire world, and once I conquer everything, I will marry you." Cassandra replies, "If I form a relationship with you, I will lose all my powers forever." Memnon retorts, "Once I conquer the entire world, we won't need your powers anymore." Meanwhile, Mathayus and the thief reach Memnon's kingdom, where a child steals the bag containing the precious stone from Mathayus. But eventually, Mathayus catches the child. This child is a local and knows everything about the area, so Mathayus asks him to guide him to Memnon's palace in exchange for a valuable stone. The child agrees and brings Mathayus to the palace. Inside the palace, they meet an old man who is making gunpowder. This old man is actually a scientist who invents new weapons for Memnon. However, the old man does not like Memnon because he treats him poorly. Memnon wants the old man to make gunpowder, which he plans to use in the war. So Mathayus places his sword on the old man and asks him where Memnon can be found at this time. The old man tells him that Memnon must be practicing swordsmanship at this moment. Then the boy takes Mathayus to the place where Memnon was practicing. After this, Mathayus gives the boy a precious stone and thanks him for his help before climbing up to it. Then Mathayus climbs up and aims to kill Memnon, but as soon as he targets him, he sees that Memnon's soldiers have captured the boy along with the precious stone given by Mathayus. The soldiers think that the boy has stolen the stone. Memnon orders his soldiers to cut off the boy's hand as punishment because, in Egypt, the punishment for theft is this: Reluctantly, Mathayus shifts his aim from Memnon to the soldiers to save the boy. The soldiers see Mathayus and start shooting arrows at him, but Mathayus escapes and runs into a room where the sorceress Cassandra is bathing. Mathayus kidnaps the sorceress and takes her out of Memnon's palace because Mathayus knows that Memnon will surely come out of the palace to save her. When Memnon comes to save his sorceress, Mathayus plans to kill him and then kill the sorceress too. After that, Mathayus heads toward the Valley of the Dead with the sorceress. As night falls, the three of them stop to rest and sleep in one place. The sorceress tries to escape, but Mathayus catches her and asks, "Do you want to go to Memnon?" The sorceress says, "No, I will never go to him because he has kept me captive since my childhood." Then Mathayus asks, "Why did you help me that night?" The sorceress replies, "I saw in my prophecy that you would rescue me from Memnon's palace." Hearing this, Mathayus tells her, "If you want to leave, you can go, but the outside world is more dangerous than I am." The sorceress decides to stay with Mathayus. The next day, the three of them continue their journey, but Mathayus sees that Memnon has sent some soldiers to kill them. Mathayus decides to fight them alone. He knows that a storm is coming in the desert very soon, so he ties a cloth over his eyes to protect them from the sandy storm. As soon as Mathayus reaches the soldiers, a massive sandstorm comes from behind, blinding Memnon's soldiers. Taking advantage of this, Mathayus starts killing Memnon's soldiers one by one. But then Memnon's commander finds a cave and quickly takes his remaining soldiers inside it. Mathayus also follows them into the cave and kills the rest of the soldiers one by one. Seeing all this, Memnon's commander becomes terrified and runs out of the cave to save his life. Mathayus manages to kill the commander, but before dying, the commander shoots an arrow at Mathayus. The arrow was actually given to the commander by Memnon, in which Scorpion's poison was applied, due to which the poison spreads throughout Mathayus' body, and he becomes unconscious right there. At night, he is on the verge of death, but the sorceress Cassandra, with her magic, removes the poison from his body, and in this way, Mathayus' life is saved. The next morning, when Mathayus wakes up, he finds a bird with one of Memnon's soldiers, so he sends a message to Memnon through that bird, saying that all his soldiers have been killed. But Memnon lies to everyone, saying that Mathayus has died, so that the morale of his soldiers does not break before the war. But his soldiers repeatedly ask him about Cassandra, to which Memnon lies, saying that Cassandra is in the palace and is unwell because he does not want to break the morale of his soldiers because of Cassandra, which has always been high. Meanwhile, Mathayus, Cassandra, and the thief wander in the desert in search of water. Suddenly there is a blast, and they see that the old man who was making gunpowder for Memnon in the palace has now succeeded in making gunpowder. In reality, that old man had also escaped from the palace and come here because Memnon had discovered that he had helped Mathayus in the palace. Now, seeing Cassandra there, he becomes very happy. After this, all four move forward in search of water, and finally, they find water in one place. But suddenly, many soldiers arrive there and capture all of them, taking them to a tribe where many people are hiding from Memnon. Then the chief of the tribe comes out, who already knew Mathayus, but both of them did not like each other at all. Now, the chief of the tribe wants to kill all of them, but then the queen of the tribe comes and tells him not to do so, but the chief does not agree and orders his soldiers to bring the sorceress Cassandra to him. At this, Mathayus says that whoever wants to have the sorceress Cassandra must fight him first, which angers the chief, and he steps forward to fight Mathayus. Now a fight begins between Mathayus and the chief of the tribe. The chief is overpowering Mathayus, but despite being so powerful, Mathayus finally defeats him and says that their common enemy is Memnon, and they should fight against him together, not among themselves. The chief of the tribe asks who will face Memnon's massive army, to which Mathayus says, "We will all face it together." The chief agrees and allows them to stay in the tribe. It is now night, and Cassandra is approached by a little girl. At that moment, she has a vision where she sees that Memnon has attacked that tribe and caused destruction across the entire tribe, where many innocent people are also killed. Worried, she goes to Mathayus and tells him everything about her vision. To this, Mathayus says to her, "Memnon's death will be at my hands." Then Cassandra has another vision, and this time she sees that an arrow hits Mathayus, wounding him, and he is taking his last breaths. After regaining consciousness, Cassandra tells Mathayus, "If you face him, you will die, and this is written in your destiny." To this, Mathayus says, "I will write my own destiny." Then gradually, the two come very close to each other. As Cassandra had said earlier, if she came close to anyone, she would lose all her powers, and now all her powers are gone. At night, Cassandra takes Mathayus' camel and heads toward Memnon's palace because she does not want the innocent people of the tribe to lose their lives because of her. The next morning, when Mathayus learns that the sorceress Cassandra has gone back to the palace, he sets out alone to rescue her because he does not want Cassandra to become Memnon's prisoner again. But the tribal chief does not let him go alone and says, "We will go with you." Meanwhile, in Memnon's palace, everyone is celebrating, and Memnon's soldiers are repeatedly asking him about the sorceress Cassandra, as they need her before going to war the next day. But Memnon has no answer and lies again, saying she is sick. At that moment, Cassandra arrives and tells Memnon, "You will win tomorrow's battle. Your enemies will come here themselves tomorrow, and you will defeat them easily." However, Memnon begins to doubt Cassandra because he thinks she has lost her powers. He sends her back to room and kills the soldier who was repeatedly asking about the sorceress Cassandra. Then he orders his trusted soldier to guard the palace. Meanwhile, Mathayus and the tribe members sneak into the palace. The old man who had made the explosives starts laying the explosives in front of the palace with the help of the thief. Later, we see Memnon testing Cassandra's powers by bringing 6 pots. 4 of these pots contain venomous snakes, while 2 are empty. He asks her to put her hand into one of the empty pots. However, Cassandra puts her hand into a pot that contains a snake. She takes the snake out of the pot and says, "Your time has come." Before Memnon can kill Cassandra, Mathayus arrives, and now Memnon and Mathayus face each other, and the fight begins. Meanwhile, the tribal chief fights and kills Memnon's soldiers. At the same time, Pharaoh's son, who had allied with Memnon after killing his own father at the start of the story, and because of whom Mathayus' brother was also killed, arrives. The tribal chief kills him. Meanwhile, Memnon tricks Mathayus and throws him away. Just then, a soldier of Memnon arrives, who is about to shoot an arrow at Mathayus. But before this can happen, the sorceress Cassandra runs toward him to save Mathayus. Seeing this, Mathayus grabs Cassandra and spins around, causing the arrow to hit his back instead. This is the same scene Cassandra had seen in her vision. At the same time, the soldier draws his sword and moves toward Mathayus, but Cassandra kills him before he can strike. Mathayus, now severely injured, spots a bow nearby. He picks it up, pulls out the arrow lodged in his back, and aims it at Memnon. Memnon, who is skilled at deflecting such arrows, is caught off guard by the speed of this one. The arrow strikes Memnon straight in the chest, causing him to fall from the palace. Simultaneously, the thief ignites the gunpowder, resulting in a massive explosion. Memnon falls directly into the flames and burns to death, marking the end of Memnon. Everyone then accepts Mathayus as their king. The next morning, we see the tribe's people returning to their homelands. The tribal leader bids farewell to Mathayus and heads back to his own tribe. Meanwhile, Cassandra tells Mathayus, "Our kingdom will have peace and prosperity." Mathayus responds, "I've heard that if you come close to someone, you lose your powers. So how did you manage to see all this?" Cassandra replies, "I lied. My powers are still with me." Mathayus then asks, "How long will peace and prosperity last in the kingdom?" Cassandra says, "Nothing lasts forever. That is the destiny of every kingdom." Mathayus declares, "We will write our own destiny, and that of this kingdom." The two kiss, and with that, the story concludes.